Hello, and welcome back to Trend Watch 777. Oh, so in this video, I'm over in X land. So I am going to be reacting to some of these videos. And as you know, if you watch any of my videos, I try not to watch them beforehand so I can give you my authentic reaction. So we're over here in X, and this first video is Van Jones, and the caption says, "Most of us are just interpreting the images and videos of that wait that our algorithm serves us. Few people outside of Minneapolis have a truly comprehensive view of what is happening there. That said, here is what I am seeing on my phone. A rowdy but overwhelmingly nonviolent, emphasis nonviolent protest movement versus overwhelmingly lawless and violent government agents from ICE, courageous citizen journalists versus cowardly mask bullies, government lies about an armed threat to cops versus the truth from citizen cell phones, providing the man posed no threat when he was shot. If your phone is showing you something radically different, please let me know. But a country in which immigration officials keep gunning down U.S. citizens, knowing that the federal government will always side with its armed agents against any citizen, is hard to describe as a nation of laws. This right here administration is a lawless administration from the head from the head trickle on down, all lawlessness. But let's check out what Van Jones have to say.
Lies from the government versus documented truth from the people. Violence versus nonviolence. I'm seeing in my feed, I'm seeing a 50,000 people protest in negative 20-degree weather. That's extreme nonviolence. And then, soon after, I see the police dogpile somebody and shoot him to death in broad daylight. That's extreme violence. That's extreme violence. And then what I'm seeing is, yes, there's some people who are not acting right, but overwhelmingly what I'm seeing is everyday citizens out there. They are expressing themselves under the First Amendment, their right to dissent, and their right to record what's going on. And then what I'm seeing is, on the other side, not courage, but cowardice. People with their faces covered, they're dogpiling people, they're disappearing people, disappearing Native Americans. They have no authority over Native Americans. So I'm seeing, courageous activity on the part of everyday people and too much cowardly activity from ICE agents. And lastly, lies versus the truth. The government comes out and says that this guy was some kind of armed terrorist out there trying to hurt cops. Then the videos come out and it's the opposite. And it turns out he's an ICU nurse. And so hold on a second. To me, yes, there's bad stuff happening on both sides, but overwhelmingly, you've got a nonviolent movement of everyday people, an overwhelmingly nonviolent movement against an overwhelmingly violent, out of control government agency. You've got real courage on the part of everyday citizens exercising their rights. And I'm seeing, just real cowardly behavior on the part of too many ICE agents. That's what I'm seeing in my feed. If you're seeing something radically different, please let me know. But what I'm seeing should not be happening in America, and it should make everybody very, very concerned. This is not right, and it needs to stop.
Absolutely, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. It does needs to stop. So let's go and check out what some of the people were saying in the comments here. See if they're seeing anything different than what you and I are saying. I'm seeing a lawless nation. That's what I'm seeing. All right, so let me say more. All right, so what is this? Rowdy but overwhelmingly non-violent. Okay, so who? I guess that's supposed to be ICE agent down in someone's attack. What's going on here in this business in this? photo? Who's on the ground? Somebody with a helmet. Okay, that have to be an ICE agent. Okay, so all right, so that must be a Trump supporter here. All right. Epstein and their fraud. She's not wrong. Okay, what's this about?
And that the Epstein files, it continues. It's even worse. I just spent hours listening to another testimony. And when the testimony came out just in the last few days, that's when they pump up the Minnesota. Pump up the Minnesota, beat a few more people up, kill a few more people. Get everybody to look over there. Don't look. And again, I'm not talking about just trafficking. I'm talking about outrageous snuff films, murdering young, I would say children, youth. They're supposed to be graveyards filled with missing kids, and no one knew who they were. I know I sound like a crazy person, I know, but it's not. There is a testimony, Sasha Riley. I ask people to go and investigate and listen to it yourself.
I might have to check that out. But you know what? If this what this woman claimed has some validity to it, I believe it. You know, because it's nothing new under the sun. This been going on for many, 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 many centuries. You know, but and she said it was in the Epstein's files. And I heard that some people are saying that Trump administration is doing everything in its power to distract, to keep from the Epstein files from being released. Now, this is current. She said she just heard a testimony about it. Now, that is some serious stuff. So, um, wow, that's something to check into. I'm gonna have to check into that. The Democrats must never be trusted with power again. So, all right, that's another Republican. All right, I'm not gonna go. Oh, I'm not doing all that. All right, so let me go back to where I was and go to the second video, and let me stop that from playing. So now this is from Morgan J. Freeman. Leaked video from ICE detention shows 50 people cramped in cell with no bed or a bathroom, including U.S. citizens. They hit his face. They beat him until he can no longer stand. They have been here more than 10 days without bathing and enduring hunger. Look how they have us here. Look at what kind of immigration they have us under. People who are legal, people who are not legal, people who are losing their families, they are kidnapping us. ICE is supposed to use holding cells like this only for short term detention to process arrests, not for long term clandestine black sites. Oh man. This video footage was taken at the ICE Baltimore field office located at 31 Hopkins Plaza in Baltimore, Maryland.
Migración que nos tienen, y gente que estamos legales, gente que no estamos legales, gente que está perdiendo su familia, nos están secuestrando, nos tienen en un depósito aquí en Baltimore, nos tienen en la 31 Hopkins.
Are they going to speak English? What did he say?
Baltimore. Los golpearon a un señor. Ya no aguantamos, nos tienen aquí con más de 10 días sin bañarnos y aguantando hambre. Miren cómo nos tienen aquí. Miren qué migración que nos tienen. Y gente que estamos legales, gente que no estamos legales, gente que está perdiendo su familia, nos están secuestrando, nos tienen en un depósito aquí en Baltimore, nos tienen en la 31 Hopkins. Baltimore.
Are they?
Los golpearon a un señor. Ya no aguantamos, nos tienen aquí con más de 10 días sin bañarnos y aguantando hambre. Miren
Okay,
cómo
it
nos
just
tienen.
started over. I had no clue what he just said, but maybe what I read up top is what he said. I didn't understand what he said at all. I don't speak. Okay, let's see what he said. Where's the comments at? Trump, Trump's army. Ooh, that's a nice. Ooh, that graphic says a lot. Wow, that's deep. I'd like to know what he said though. Okay, meanwhile, you have propagandists like Jesse Waters talking about how amazing the center. Jesse Waters, he's another goof.
You're also saying that someone was murdered at a detention facility. It's already been debunked weeks ago. Oh. The guy was trying to commit suicide, and the people were trying to save his life.
How you know?
These detention centers are amazing. You get dental care. You get free health.
Until one of his family members or himself is locked up in a detention center. If you never been into one or never visited one, how are you? Where is he getting his information from? Let's see. Waters, these detention centers are amazing. You get dental care, free health care. This guy came from Ecuador without any running water. He's lucky to have these services.
Healthcare. Have you ever seen the kind of concierge healthcare services they have at these detention facilities?
Yeah.
It's where did this guy come from? This guy came from Ecuador without any running water, Jessica. He's lucky to have these types of services. Let me just understand your position. You're also saying that someone was murdered at a detention.
He is so condescending. I cannot stand watching this person right here. Ugh, I don't even like looking at him. I don't even like looking at him. Okay. Then another comment said, this is a definition of a concentration camp. Okay. Then another one said, if only there were a way to fund adequate facilities for everyone, perhaps we could still call it taxation. Absolutely horrible, wrote Keith Kolick. How in our day and age can something like this be happening? Is there no mercy in this world? We are in a very dark period now, all because of Trump. Well, yes, that is true. And we are definitely living in the last days. So things is just gonna get worse. All right, so I'm just assuming what I read up here. Shout out to Morgan J. Freeman. If I didn't shout you out, I believe what I read up here is perhaps what the man said in his language. So up here is written in English, and I read that. Okay, so the next video is Caitlin Collins. Multiple DHS officials are furious over the department's handling of the shooting of Alex Pretty. All right. So I'm gonna stop there and restart it. All right, here we go, y'all.
With more on the backlash after the fatal shooting of Alex Pretty by immigration agents in Minneapolis, as videos are contradicting the account that is coming from the federal government tonight. There's mourners that are paying respects to the ICU nurse on the ground in Minneapolis, as there's growing criticism coming from inside the Department of Homeland Security, where multiple DHS officials tell my colleague CNN's Priscilla Alvarez they're furious with how the agency and Secretary Kristi Noem is handling the shooting. Some of those sentiments have been fueled by what we heard from Secretary Noem earlier in a swift defense of the federal officers involved, and also her claims about Pretty himself. Priscilla joins me now. And Priscilla, what are you hearing exactly from these officials? What did they make of what they're hearing from Secretary Noem?
Well, Caitlin, as they've had more time to absorb the videos that have been circulating on social media and that the American public has also been looking at and dissecting, they have grown more frustrated and more concerned, not only about the shooting incident, but also the public response by the Department of Homeland Security. These are officials who are keenly aware that they risk even more reputational harm, which affects them in their operations and could also have long-term consequences that they are going to have to wrestle with in the years to come. Now, of course, this is all stemmed really from what they've seen online and what they've heard from the Trump administration. And in my conversations, they simply can't square, just as many other people who've observed this can't, what happened in that shooting incident and what the Department of Homeland Security Secretary has been saying. As you mentioned, Caitlin, she swiftly defended the agent yesterday and this morning did much of the same. Take a listen.
He came to that scene and impeded a law enforcement operation, which is against federal law. It's a felony. When he did that, interacting with those agents, when they tried to get him to disengage, he became aggressive and resisted them.
Now, she's also said that the intent here was to massacre law enforcement, that he was brandishing a weapon. And in the videos that have been made public, none of that appears to be true. And that is what Homeland Security officials are wrestling with. And their concern is that ultimately the secretary is doing a disservice to the department. In fact, one Homeland Security official told me the following, quote, "The department needs a law enforcement leader, not a sycophant." In addition to that, I've heard that some Border Patrol agents who are on the ground in Minneapolis are starting to become unconvinced that this is a productive use of time, and that is doing operations there, given the tenuous situations that they are finding themselves in. So certainly, Caitlin, there are fractures within the Department of Homeland Security over this incident and the way the Trump administration has handled it so far.
Yeah, Priscilla Alvarez, thank you for that reporting. Anderson is back on the ground in Minneapolis. And Anderson, I think just given Priscilla's reporting, it also stands out that we heard from the Border Patrol official in charge earlier saying all those agents that you see in that video, they are still on the job. They just have been reassigned to other scenes, he said, out of concern for their safety.
And we have no update on any aspect of this investigation. And as you know, state officials are not part of this investigation, and according to state officials, they weren't allowed to the crime scene to do any kind of investigation or examination on their own, even though they had a search warrant signed by a judge. So there's a lot of questions about what sort of an investigation, actually, who are they actually investigating, and what are they investigating if they are? And there's certainly a lot of suspicion by people who are out in the streets, who just do not believe certainly what Secretary Noem has said, or Greg Bovino, who essentially echoed her in these allegations, accusing this man of essentially being a domestic terrorist. I mean,
Wow. Now, Caitlin said that the agents that was involved, they're no longer on the street. They've been reassigned to other areas. How do we even know that? If they have on masks, how do we even know who's who? So that could be just another more BS. Oh my God. So I'm going to go ahead and look and see what some of the comments. Okay, sounds like Murkowski and Susan Collins. We are very disappointed and disturbed. We will look into it. DHS officials need to get off their dead butts and speak up. I bet they are all effing cowards. Okay. Props to you at Caitlin Collins. Busy week. Jet lag, I bet. I bet. Worked Friday and now covering transit news here in the U.S. Thank you for your dedication. And then another commenter wrote, Alex Purdy was the breaking point. And listen, I'm going to say something that Black Americans have known for a long time. It's one thing to murder a white lesbian woman, if it's a completely different beast murdering a white heterosexual American man in front of this. In front, where did I? Okay, in front of the world. This unfortunate reality is because of the social construct created by the very folks who choose to support ICE and his murder. And now we are seeing it all fall apart. Maybe now society will listen to Black Americans when we tell you the country has a hate issue and a violence issue, and that hate and violence will come for everyone, not just one group. I don't even have to respond to that. We know. Okay, so one more. Let me see, what time is it? Got time for maybe one or two more. And this is from James Tellerico. ICE shot a mother in the face. ICE kidnapped a 5-year-old boy. And then ICE executed a man on the street. It's time to tear down this secret police force. So let's see what's going on here.
ICE shot a mother in the face. ICE kidnapped a 5-year-old boy. ICE executed a man in broad daylight on our streets just this morning. It's time to tear down this secret police force and replace it with an agency that actually is going to focus on public safety. We need to impeach Kristi Noem. We need to prosecute agents who've abused their power. We have to haul these masked men before Congress so the world can see their faces. We should be cracking down on the cartels, not our communities. We should be prosecuting gang members, not small business owners. We should be hunting down human traffickers, not moms and babies. ICE shot a mother in the face. ICE kidnapped.
Okay, I hear a lot of words. He must be running for office or something. But what I want to say, we need to tear down this whole administration, just rooted from the roots. But how can we do that when this administration is planting roots in so many different federal positions? I mean, key federal position. And who knows the records that they have stolen, the data that they have stolen on Americans. Who knows exactly what damage has been done. And some of the damage we may not even see for years and years on out. So I get what he's saying, and it sounds good, but we got to go deeper than just what he said, because this runs deep. All right, so let me a time for one more, and this is by Juliet Kayum. I'll be honest with you, Noam is not sophisticated. She is running an agency that is at best out of control. So let's see what
it
this
is. She's not. I mean, I'll be honest with you. She's not sophisticated. She doesn't know the law. She's running an agency that is at best out of control. At worst, is being told to do this, and she's authorizing it. I have been critical of her before this. It's a huge agency, and she clearly has no management of it. So what happens is she hears something happens, she comes out in front because she thinks she can control a narrative. And what's happened in a very short period of time is two things. One is, just as we saw with Gianni's work, is that lots of people have counter narratives through video that are coming out quickly, and it is hard for a rational, objective person to deny them. The second is the horror of what we saw yesterday morning has now gotten some Republicans in the Senate, but in particular, the House GOP-led Homeland Security Committee to demand an investigation. And now she's left sort of floundering with Bovina, the head of these operations. And what I saw today is DHS leadership slightly trying to unwind the slander that they started with yesterday. It was absolute slander. I mean, they just were making up lies about the victim.
Okay, so yeah, where does she even come from? Um, well, we all know that this administration has put people who are loyal to him. So that says it all. They're not going to go against him, you know, because they're loyal to him, and all their actions is coming from that one point right there. So they don't have no thoughts of their own. They're not going to go out and do the right thing when your boss is telling you to do and say and do this, bend over backwards, bobble up and down. That's what they're going to do. So, wow. What I will say is that put everything in 4K, and I said this in one of my other reactions video to carry your phone, carry your glasses, carry a point of view, carry a GoPro, one of those hidden cameras where you can pinpoint a pin. Whatever you do, capture it in 4K and then put it out there on social media, because we cannot trust this administration to give us facts. You know, they're giving us alternatives, um, stories and alternative, what they call as facts, but it's not realistic. It's not what we see in front of our eyes, what we see in 4K. You cannot dispute what you see taken from so many different points of view. So just keep on recording, keep on recording, keep on recording and putting it out there, because that's the only way we're going to find out the truth. Say, like, if we didn't have access to cell phones and we were still living back in the 70s or 80s and they come out with their narratives, how can we dispute that when we don't have no other proof? We have to go by what we are being told. So, but now times have changed. We have the power, when the power of 4K. Put it on out there. Keep the truth coming out. And so the next video, let me put this on. Okay, one more video. This is by Attorney General Keith Ellison. Minnesotans, you have stood up for your neighbors without faltering, without failing, and without backing down. I am proud to be in this fight with you, and I am here to match your bravery. All right, let's go.
Minnesotans, you have stood up. You have demanded that this government, this federal government, obey the law, respect the Constitution, respect the individual rights of Minnesotans. And your officials, like the governor and myself, are standing up there to protect that, to stand at the front of the line protecting your rights. We need you to keep on protesting peacefully. We do. But we also know that protesting needs to be augmented and supplemented with deliberate and decisive action in our courts. And so that's what we're delivering. And so I want to thank all of you. You should know that we are here to match your bravery. We're here to reflect the great dignity that you're showing and the great love and respect you have for our state. And you can count on us to reflect your passion, your compassion, and your commitment by standing up every day without faltering, without failing, without backing down, without breaking down. We will be there fighting for Minnesota, and you can count on that.
Yeah, Minnesota strong. We're with you on that. Minnesota attorney, that was from the Minnesota Attorney General. Is that who that was? Attorney General Keith Ellison. Yeah, Minnesota stand strong. Minnesota strong. And keep on recording, keep on putting it out there. Stand up in the face of a giant, because that's what we are up against, is a giant. Okay, so with Ricky, the next one is, let me see, Ricky Smiley, and then he have this. And let me see, is that the last one? No, I got two more. One more after this. What time? Okay, yeah. Okay. And Sean Ryan wrote, when the American empire finally collapsed, historians won't be stunned by the greed of the elite. They'll be stunned by the loyalty of the poor. The working class didn't just vote against their own interests, they worshiped the billionaires robbing them. They slashed their own benefits, gutted their own health care, and cheered while the rich wrote off private jets as tax deductions, not because it helped them, but because they were told it would hurt someone else. Mm. And that right there is how you rig a democracy without even breaking a single law. Okay. Okay. I get it. The big beautiful bill, I suppose. All right, so the next one is by Adam Schiff. The White House called Alex Purdy an assassin. They called Renee Good a domestic terrorist. And their investigations are shutting out local officials. They tell Americans not to believe their lying eyes, but no one can believe a word they say. Okay, Adam Schiff, let's go.
Look, I was a prosecutor for almost 6 years. There does need to be an investigation of both of these killings and a lot more. But no one can have confidence that DHS will do that properly when the head of that agency has called these victims domestic terrorists without knowing anything. When the White House is calling them domestic terrorists, who can believe an investigation led by people who have already reached their conclusion? Local officials, local law enforcement needs to be involved in these investigations. It needs to be objective, and we simply can't accept an administration that says, don't believe your lying eyes. Look, I was a prosecutor for almost 6 years. There does need to be an investigation of both of these.
That is so true there. That is so true, Adam Schiff. Mm, mm, mm. Like I said, just keep on putting the truth out there. That's all we can do. We cannot. We're fighting against like David and Goliath. We are David. The administration is the Goliath. So we have to fight with weapons that we can fight with, and that is putting everything out there on 4K. We just got to stand up vigilant because, like I said before, if we didn't have those videos out in 4K of what happened to Renee Good, to Alex Purdy, to that 5-year-old kid being hauled away along with his father, who did run away and abandon him, but nevertheless, they still took the child when they could have left the child with an adult who said that she would take him in, but they still took the child. We would not have any of proof if we did not see this with our own eyes. And our eyes are not lying to us. They see clearly, crystal clearly. But like Schiff said, they tell Americans not to believe their lying eyes. Okay? All right. So let me see. Here we got another one. Governor Kathleen Hochul. What is it? Hochul? All right. So ex-secretary Nome has forfeited her right to lead. I'm calling on her to resign. She ain't going to resign. Gregory Bovino must also be fired. Not an ICE agent, not one federal officer, not a president is above the law. All right, here we go.
Yesterday in Minneapolis, federal immigration agents killed another American citizen in broad daylight. His name was Alex Purdy. He was 37 years old. He was an ICU nurse, someone whose job was saving lives. Donald Trump's leader of the Department of Homeland Security has proven to be unable and unwilling to follow the law to stop these killings. Kristi Noem has referred to these peaceful protesters as domestic terrorists and lied about the shooting victims being the aggressors. She has shown a profound disregard for human life. Kristi Noem has forfeited her right to lead, and I'm calling on her to resign as Secretary of Homeland Security, or Donald Trump to do the right thing and just fire her. And if not, she must be removed or impeached. And Gregory Bovino, who has helped lead and defend and escalate these operations, should also be fired. But no one is above the law. No one. Not an ICE agent, not a federal officer, not the President of the United States. And make no mistake, when these people who have abused the power entrusted to them by their offices are finally out of power, states, including New York, will hold them accountable.
I hope they do. I mean, Trump, he seemed to be getting away with everything. And she said that like Trump is like on our side. Come on now. Or Trump fire her. Yeah. Right. Okay. That's delusional. All right. So now what is this? Bill Clinton, over the course of a lifetime, we face only a few moments where the decisions we make and the actions we take will shape our history for years to come. This is one of them. All right, so let me see. Can I see this? This is like really small. I want to read it, but it's so small. Can I make it bigger? Ooh, okay. So I'm going to read some of it, and I don't have my glasses here, but this is a statement. Is this from Bill Clinton? Okay, so this is a statement, my statement on the horrible scenes playing out in Minneapolis across America, and this is dated January the 25th of 2006. In recent weeks, we watched the horrible scenes play out in Minneapolis and other communities that I never thought would take place in America. Can I make this bigger? Where'd it go? Okay. Oh, that's a little bit too big. Let me go back a little bit. Okay. All right. So where did I leave? Street mask. Okay. People, including children, have been seized from their homes, workplaces, in the street by masked federal agents. Peaceful protesters and citizens exercising their constitutional right to observe and document law enforcement have been arrested, beaten, tear gassed, and most seemingly in the cases of Renee Good and Alex Pretty shot and killed. All of this is unacceptable and should have been avoided. To make matters even worse, at every turn, the people in charge have lied to us, told us not to believe what we have seen with our own eyes, and pushed increasingly aggressive and antagonistic tactics, including impeding investigations by local authorities. Now, over the course of a lifetime, we face only a few moments where the decisions we make and the actions we take will shape our history for years to come. This is one of them. If we give our freedom away after 250 years, we might never get it back. It is up to all of us who believe in the promise of American democracy to stand up, speak out, and show that our nation still belongs to we the people. All right, so this is a letter by Bill Clinton. And I believe President Barack Obama also have a letter that I'm going to read. And I believe this is the last one. So the killing of Alex Pretty is a heartbreaking tragedy. It should also be a wake-up call to every American, regardless of party, that many of our core values as a nation are increasingly under assault. So this is a statement by President Barack Obama and Mrs. Obama, and this is dated January the 25th, 2026. The killing of Alex Peretti is a heartbreaking tragedy. It should also be a wake-up call to every American. Didn't I just read that? Okay, well, didn't I say that? Okay, so that's worded a little differently. All right, so I'm going to start all over. The killing of Alex Peretti is a heartbreaking tragedy. It should be also a wake-up call to every American, regardless of party, that many of our core values as a nation are increasingly under assault. Federal law enforcement and immigration agents have a tough job, but Americans expect them to carry out their duties in a lawful, accountable way and to work with rather than against state and local officials to ensure public safety. That is not what we're seeing in Minnesota. In fact, we're seeing the opposite. For weeks now, people across the country have been rightly outraged by the spectacle of masked ICE recruits and other federal agents acting with impunity and engaging in tactics that seem designed to intimidate, harass, provoke, and endanger the residents of a major American city. These unprecedented tactics, which even the former top lawyer of the Department of Homeland Security in the first Trump administration has characterized as embarrassing, lawless, and cruel, have now resulted in the fatal shooting of 2 U.S. citizens. And yet, rather than trying to impose some semblance of discipline and accountability over the agents they deployed, the president and the current administration officials seem eager to escalate the situation while offering public explanations for the shooting. Mr. Peretti, and Renee Good that aren't informed by any serious investigation, and that appear to be directly contradicted by video evidence. See, there's that video evidence again, y'all. Keep it coming. This has to stop. I would hope that after this most recent tragedy, administration officials will reconsider their approach and start finding ways to work constructively with Governor Walsh and Mayor Frey, as well as state and local police, to avert more chaos and achieve legitimate law enforcement goals. Okay, so in the meantime, every American should support and draw inspiration from the wave of peaceful protests in Minneapolis and other parts of the country. They are a timely reminder that ultimately it is up to each of us as citizens to speak out against injustice, protect our basic freedoms, and hold our government accountable. Guess we got a job to do, y'all. We got a job to do. It is our duty. It is our duty. All right, so let me see. That's it for this segment here. And I know there was a little long. I went a little longer than I normally do, but I felt that it was just important to get all of that in. So yeah, prayers still for the friends and family of the Peretti family and the Renee Goods family and everyone who is affected in any way, shape, or form, which is all of us, by ICE. We got to pray for the state of the world, because that is where we at. And I want to end one thing with the scripture that I think is most appropriate for this. Okay, so there's really two I want to read, but this one popped up into my head real quick, and this is from Second Chronicles chapter 14, verse 14. chapter 7, verse 14 of the King James Version, and it reads, "If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray, and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, and I will forgive their sin, and I will heal their land." We definitely need healing, and we definitely got to fall on our faces because we are living in some troubling times right now. And we can't do it alone. We have to go to our higher power. We have to turn, to the Lord. The Lord just told us if his people, which are the Christians, the remnant, we know how to pray. We know how to fall on our faces. And that's what we have to do. So, I'm going to end my video right now. And thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, my new subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so that you can get notified each and every time that I drop a video. Okay, so I'm out, y'all. Take care of each other, love each other, and keep the truth coming out. Keep your cell phones at the ready. Keep your GoPros at the ready. Keep your Meta glasses at the ready. Anything that can record video or audio, keep it at the ready. Because that's the only way we're going to know the truth. And then put it out there. 10 toes down. All right. I'm out.